We welcome you to a sold-out Jones C. Edwards Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia. It's college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Louisville from the ACC against the Marshall Thundering Herd from Conference USA. With Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell on the sideline, I'm Carter Blackburn. Louisville won the opening toss and will receive the opening kickoff here in Huntington, West Virginia. Travion Samuel takes a knee. Louisville will have it at the 25. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups begin with the breakout star of college football in 2016, the sophomore from Boynton Beach, Florida, Lamar Jackson. The Heisman Trophy isn't handed out until December, Aaron, but it is clear the front runner in September is Lamar Jackson.
There's no question. In just 3 short weeks, he's taken his team from being a dark horse in the ACC to being a favorite to get to the college football playoff. 460 yards, 6 touchdowns per game for this young man. He is a special talent.
Lamar Jackson, incomplete on his first pass attempt. That's Staples on the drag route. And as Jackson is hit on the first play from scrimmage. All 3 opening drives this season, touchdowns for Louisville, and they have been quick strike touchdowns from the Louisville offense.
Has to be able to stop the run and force these guys to play one-handed. Not an easy task.
Jackson to throw. It is incomplete. Staples the intended receiver, so Lamar Jackson starts 0 for 2. Jackson 2nd and 10. Play action. Deep shot. Lamar Jackson. It is incomplete. No flags through the contact. On Staples, it's Chris Jackson, the true freshman, who gets tested early by Louisville. Lamar Jackson 0 for 3 passing so far. And that touchdown streak on the opening drive for Louisville on the line on 3rd and 10. Jackson pressured in the pocket, and he is sacked back at the 32. It's Chase Hancock, the sophomore outside linebacker, who drops Jackson for a loss of 8, and the Marshall defense stops Louisville on the opening drive.
This is exactly what they wanted to do. One of the things I thought this offensive line did a very good job with, Carter, is pass protection, but you see they don't give up on the play. Getting to Lamar Jackson and getting...
Break in the true freshman quarterback. Garrett Morrell starting for the first time. Chase Liddon, the sophomore quarterback, who has 10 wins as a Marshall starter, is out because of an undisclosed injury. Reports say it's a concussion. Marshall has not confirmed that. But either way, it's Garrett Morrell starting his first game against the number 3 team in the country.
Light turned on a week ago. He led the receivers with 7 catches, 118 yards. They need a big night from him.
Foster takes it again, turns the corner, gets to near the 40 to bring up 3rd down and short. And last week, and their loss to Akron. Vedvik gets it off. Alexander lets it bounce at the 15 and out of bounds inside the 15. For those of you watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming will continue after the commercial break on CBS Sports Network. Go to CBSSportsNetwork.com/channel finder. It's Corey Vedvik, the junior from Norway, on the punt for the 2nd time. Vedvik gets it off. It'll be fielded by Alexander. Alexander goes in reverse. Now gets a block. There's a flag down. Likely a block in the back.
Favorite target, number 17.
Jackson will keep it. Elude the defender in the backfield and get back to the line of scrimmage to make it 3rd down and 1. Jackson nearly dropped for a loss. That's 3 rushes now for Jackson, 0 yards.
This was play action passing. Just a good job by the defensive end of coming upfield and forcing Jackson back inside. They were counting on him to flatten out and hopefully get outside of him, but the rush was relentless. They ran to the football.
Out of the pistol look, Radcliffe on the right side has a 1st down, and Radcliffe is popped as he reaches the sideline. Kendall Gant lays the lick and does a little talking, and here's a flag.
You got to be smart, but I love the attitude that Marshall is bringing. You got to try and punch these guys in the mouth. Nobody's done it.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
But that falls under the category of dumb penalty on the sideline, late hit, 15 yards.
Yeah, you got to be smart. You don't want to give an offense like this any extra help. Here's that pistol formation, 4.5 to 5 yards, deep eye back.
And the play clock winding down. It's Brandon Radcliffe, and he will be wrapped up. It's Kendall Gant who gets the penetration. Now the football comes into Marshall's hands, but they're going to say that Radcliffe was down. So no fumble, no recovery by Marshall.
Really impressed with the defensive play calling and the way his unit, a defensive coordinator, Chuck Heater's unit, is playing. They're doing a nice job. This offense does such a good job of, Carter, I call it the accordion effect. They stretch you sideline to sideline, make you defend the whole field. And as soon as you flatten out, they run power football up inside. It's worked on everybody, but the Thundering Herd tonight holding firm at times.
Quick strike touchdown the last time they had it. Now trying to grind it out. Jackson on second down, incomplete, intended for James Quick. So
I think for a lot of reasons, Carter, you got to bring some pressure. Try to get number 8 off of his spot and hold. This is a big set of downs for Marshall to get confidence for a defense that's more than held their own so far tonight.
5 wide empty backfield for Jackson on 3rd and 12. On the draw, it's snuffed out by Marshall. And the Thundering Herd ready for the run by Lamar Jackson. It's the 5th-year senior Gary Thompson, the defensive leader for Marshall, who brings Lamar Jackson down to force 4th down and a field goal attempt.
Gary Thompson, preseason All-Conference USA player. And that's what you need. This is what Florida State couldn't do a week ago. They couldn't make plays inside with their offensive line. He just smokes the right tackle there, who oversets, comes underneath, and forces one of the few field goal attempts that Louisville's had this year.
Just the 5th. Evan O'Hara, the sophomore from Florence, Kentucky. And this one is no good. 3 possessions for Louisville. 2 of them stops by the Marshall defense. And the Thundering Herd crowd that showed up ready for a huge celebration in Huntington, West Virginia, and a huge upset. Yes, it's 7-0 Louisville. They have a 71-yard touchdown on the board. But the Marshall defense has managed to slow Lamar Jackson. O'Hara's field goal is no good, and Marshall gets a football down a touchdown. It has been a long time since the Huntington faithful saw their team take down a ranked opponent. Our road trip facts: they have won 21 of their 23 games here at Jones C. Edwards Stadium. However, one of those was last week against Akron. You go back 2 years ago, Western Kentucky. So second time they've hosted an AAP top 10 team, but
coming up with the big first down, and that was a really accurate pass by 8.
Gain of 26. Jackson flushed outside the pocket. He's going to heave it downfield, and it is incomplete. Off the hands of Hicatini. Corey Neely, the safety, there in coverage. But Marshall, on that last play and tonight, has been able to get pressure on Jackson.
This is the one thing you want to do to any quarterback, and particularly this one, is get after him, get him off his spot, make him feel uncomfortable. Carter, this has flat out affected his accuracy. He hasn't been harassed all year like this. Florida State couldn't even do it, and I think the Herd, their game plan up front is keeping them in this ball game, except for one deep shot over the top.
On 2nd and 10, Jackson zips it incomplete again. So now 5 for 12 passing for Lamar Jackson. It's Chris Jackson, the true freshman in coverage there on Staples. So in the first quarter now, 77-10 with the first quarter touchdown on that 71-yarder to Quick. And amazing you could say, hey, they hit a 71-yard touchdown and lead the game 7-0, and yet Marshall has been up to the task so far in the first quarter.
This is the best defense I've seen Louisville up to this point. And the 71-yard touchdown that they gave up was when their cornerback, Rodney Allen, fell down on the ground. Other than that, they're doing a really nice job of getting pressure. They've been gassed a little bit in the run game, but they're bending and not breaking except for one play. And credit that defensive line and pressure package that defensive coordinator Chuck Heater's dialed up.
Bringing up 3rd and 10 in front of the sellout crowd here in Huntington. Jackson dancing again in the pocket. Escapes. Now he's going to heave it downfield from the 40. Looking for Quick again. It's intercepted at the 5-yard line. Picked off, out of bounds, but it's a takeaway by the Marshall D. It's Terry Richardson who has the interception. Jackson looks deep for Quick again. Dozier gets the pressure. Terry Richardson with just the second interception of the year by the Marshall defense.
In and out the receiver downfield. Offense number 50. Penalties decline. Results of the play. First down.
And the Thundering Herd defense celebrates. An excellent start against Louisville.
Carter, good things happen when you can get after the quarterback. Just the pressure gets pushed up inside. Jackson pulls the ball down. I thought he should have kept running, but he slides a step up, and he throws off his back foot falling away, so he doesn't get the amount of air underneath the football that he wants, and just a great job running underneath this. Offensive coordinator Bill Legg in a little bit of a bind. They've got to get their quarterback going. They had Chase Litton, who's not playing tonight. He's averaging 5 touchdowns a game. That's the type of running game you need to get going right there, Carter. That's a huge first down. Let's see if they can run some tempo here and get Louisville off balance.
That is the first down for Marshall. Hylik Foster picks it up.
Good job by the offensive line sealing that edge.
And so, yes, it's third-ranked Louisville with a 7-0 lead on Marshall at the end of the first quarter. But the Thundering Herd stand their ground against the nation's #1 offense and the Heisman Trophy contender, Lamar Jackson. Just 27 yards of offense for Marshall. Vedvik hits it at the 15. Alexander is going to field it at the 35. Flag down as he is blown up. And it's Gant who had the unsportsmanlike conduct earlier, who is apparently going to draw the flag here.
And that might be targeting, Carter.
Kick catch interference.
Okay.
Kicking team number 14 with targeting. That play is under further review.
With targeting, so that means that Kendall Gant is out of the game. Your junior safety is ejected because of the targeting.
Will be ejected if the call is upheld. But you see Doc Holliday not happy with it. It's their cornerback Alexander that's also their returner. I don't think I saw targeting with the naked eye in real time there. It's like he hits his left shoulder with his head. And remember, targeting is forcible contact upon the head or neck area. The high-risk indicators are launching, dropping your head, using the crown of your helmet, and not wrapping up. He certainly tried to deliver a blow, but I don't know if there was enough forcible contact there to pull him out. Looked to be on the right shoulder tap there. We'd love to run him into the boundary here.
Jackson's going to turn and hand off, and it looks like Marshall has another stop on 2nd down and short.
You got to be really careful here and find the balance between being aggressive but smart.
Jackson on 3rd and 1. He's going to be pressured and incomplete. So they get more pressure on Jackson, forcing the incompletion intended for Staples. It's Ryan B., the 6'7" defensive end from Ashland, Ohio, who applies the pressure this time.
Here he is right here, Ryan B. They've got 2 tight ends over there in a tackle, but he just wins his matchup with a nice swim move and just runs right around the left tackle, Lucius McNeil.
Just 6 for 16 passing. Samuel goes in motion. He'll take it on 2nd and goal. Samuel is wrapped up as soon as he touches the football. Maybe gets a yard, but yet again, the Marshall defense right on top of the football.
You're great. You're right, Carter, and that's because the edge is set right there. Number 35 for Marshall.
He has 173 yards of total offense early in the 2nd quarter and 2 touchdown passes. Davis is going to bring it out of the end zone. Keon Davis shaking his way across the 25-yard line. Davis has the 35. Keon Davis breaks a big one in special teams. Out of bounds. comes near the 45-yard line. So boost from the sophomore Keon Davis.
That's exactly what you need to do. Your playmakers have to step up and make plays. I just said you have to get something going. Something good has to happen. You see Louisville just overcommits, get out of their run lanes, don't break down, don't keep it inside and in front. And it's off to the races. Now, special teams done their part, Carter. I think what the offense needs to do, high percentage run on first down so far in this game. I think you need to take a play-action shot and let Garrett Morrell show you his arm strength.
Bill Legg, offensive coordinator, and Marshall trying to get the offense rolling through the physical ground game.
Yeah, this offense is all about the power run, screen, short passes. But we haven't seen any deep shots. They're playing really conservative here. This is a big third down they got to pick up probably on the ground.
Call it 3rd and 1. Morrell will pull it, and he has the first down, and he takes a big hit as he gets across the 40-yard line, moving the chains for just the second time for the Marshall offense. But Morrell takes the hit from Fields and keeps rolling.
It's the right read. It's just a zone read. The end crashes down, and Morrell showing you his ability to get out of the pocket. I think getting hit like that could actually help this man.
It's Alexander who lays the lick. So 1st and 10. Give it back to Keon Davis. Now to the 36. Corey Vedvik.
Interesting decision to punt here. Trying to pin Louisville down.
Vedvik hangs it. Marshall. It hits at the 6, takes a Louisville bounce. Marshall gets on top of the football at the 13.
It's been a pretty good effort up front by the Thundering Herd.
High backfield, Adkins and Radcliffe behind Lamar Jackson, the sophomore from Boynton Beach. And handoff, Radcliffe, and the Marshall D again up front doing its job. It's Jason Smith bringing Radcliffe down.
All downfield. He settled down passing, but he's been under duress all night.
Under duress again
right there.
on 2nd and 11, and it's going to be incomplete, intended for Hicatini. Ryan B. again in the face of Lamar Jackson.
I'm telling you, man, nobody this year has been able to get pressure on this kid. This is a remarkable effort by Marshall. It's the 8th quarterback hurry. They are whipping a very seasoned, very experienced offensive line up front in one-on-one matchups.
1 yard touchdown reception, already 93 now. Jackson pressured again and leaves it incomplete for Jeremy Smith. This time it's Naquan Harris, the sophomore nose tackle in the face of Jackson.
Jackson hasn't been under duress at all this year. It's usually big explosive plays, but the Thundering Herd up front are doing their job.
Marshall out of Conference USA, double-digit wins each of the last 3 seasons, and it was a defense that gave up 8.5 yards per play last week to Akron. Yet they're holding their own against Lamar Jackson and Louisville despite a 14-0 lead. All of this talking about the Marshall defense doing its job. Well, it's still 14-0 Louisville. But they brought up 3rd down again. Keller and B combine on that stop.
A week ago on 3rd down, Louisville was 5 for 10. Top 30 in the country on this down so far this year, but timeout taken. They want to talk about it.
Chase Litton, the sophomore starting quarterback who has won 10 games for Marshall, unable to play tonight. Undisclosed injury. Marshall has not confirmed what's been reported, and it was a concussion. So you have Garrett Morrell, the true freshman, starting at quarterback. And now a Marshall offense that has been slow needs to get something going with 4:52 left in the half.
They've been very conservative tonight. They're running the football on almost every first down. They're not giving Garrett Morrell, the true freshman quarterback, an opportunity to push the ball down the field. So what that does is starts to suck in Louisville's defense, and you get plays like this. You're down 21 points. Being conservative and not wanting to turn it over isn't going to help you win this ball game. Let it rip. First down, play action, take a deep shot. Left side of the field where there's one defender. Got one-on-one down here. Take a shot.
There's the play action. That's exactly where they're looking. Downfield, there's the shot. It's incomplete. Intended for Michael Clark. And Jair Alexander in corner in coverage. The pass is incomplete. Morrell now 1 for 6 passing.
See the fans there clapping and cheering. That was one of them forward passes, Carter.
So they take the shot on first down. Incomplete. Back to the ground game. And it's Pittman who finds the edge. Pittman shoving his way near the 35, and here comes a flag on the sideline.
That was a really nice physical run there. I thought he should have been patient to set up his block at the beginning, but he decides to take it in his own hands and get outside. Nice physical run.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty. First down.
On the safety, Chucky Williams.
There's those foolish penalties. You see some good blocking, and just the speed and the breaking the arm tackle, and right there some good physicality, and that little extra pop right there when he's out of bounds. It's that second effort by Williams that gets in. He's a very versatile playmaker. Attacked that ball nicely.
Pittman hurdles his way across the 50, nearer another first down for Marshall. We'll check the spot. It will be 1st and 10. Move to chains.
This may be hard for me to believe I'm actually saying, but I really like the way that Marshall's controlling the line of scrimmage at times on both sides of the ball.
Even though they're down 28-0?
Well, yeah, they're being very conservative. They're not getting helped by their signal caller.
Vedvik will punt. Jair Alexander back for Louisville. Louisville nearly got it. Vedvik able to get it off. Fair catch signal from Alexander. Muffs it. Marshall appears to be on top inside the 15. Thundering Herd have it deep in Louisville territory. After the muff by Alexander, Hancock gets on top of the football. A special teams mistake by Louisville gives Marshall life with 1:12 left in the first half.
These are the types of plays that get you right back in ball games. Alexander calls for the fair catch. The ball moves on him. You see he overruns it. He slides right there at the last minute to his left, muffs the punt, and really good coverage. 3 Marshall defenders around the football and end up with a huge turnover inside the red zone with the recovery. Go play action. It's the short side of the field. Throw it up towards the end of the end zone. Either your guy comes with it or he goes out of bounds. Man.
Low snap, 2nd and 13. Morrell, there's the pump to the end zone. Flag down, but the pass is caught for a touchdown. Yurachek hauls it in to put Marshall on the board, and now we check the flag.
It's going to be defensive holding or pass interference.
Defense, number 25. Penalty decline. Touchdown.
Off the special teams mistake. Marshall takes the football and points on the board as Morrell finds the tight end Ryan Yurachek for 17.
Yurachek's in one-on-one coverage with Josh Harvey Clemens, their best player. Harvey Clemens all over him, even with the hold. Yurachek comes down with the first points of the night. Great play and quick score after the turnover and mistake by Louisville.
Amaretto Curry boots through the PAT. So Louisville rolling 28-0, getting the football back with a chance to score again at the end of the first half. But the special teams miscue by Jair Alexander sets Marshall up, and on just the 3rd completed pass of the night, Morrell to Yurachek for the touchdown.
Here's Yurachek right here, and here's Harvey Clemens. He just runs a skinny post, beats him. Yurachek coming in this game. Oh, double move, the stutter go, and that's why Clemens has to grab a hold of him. And even with the tackle around the 5-yard line, the great route running and the perfectly delivered football by the freshman Morrell gives the Herd 7 points. Again, remember, Marshall gets this ball back.
On this week in 1997, the Marshall offense, a performance for the ages. Chad Pennington finding Randy Moss 5 touchdown passes against an overmatched Ball State team. And why do we bring that up with Pennington to Moss 5 touchdowns? Because, hey, here's Chad Pennington. Yeah, it's a 42-7 game. So, Chad, thanks for joining us here for the third quarter. Yeah, so 5 TD passes to Randy Moss in that game. I would imagine that's a pretty good target when you're playing in a MAC game when you got Mr. Moss.
Well, exactly. And, you know, that whole year, that was our first year in 1A. And every team we played would try to test Randy one-on-one, and we would prove them wrong every game, including when we played Ole Miss in the bowl game. So he was so fun to play with.
How early in the process did you know that he was going to be somebody special? What was that wow moment that you saw in practice? Like, man, this cat is good.
I remember in 1996 when we were still in 1AA, and I was watching him run a post corner route, and the quarterback had thrown it to the corner while while Randy was still in his post, and he hadn't broken to the corner. And I'm like, well, that's incomplete. And it wasn't incomplete. He went and got it, and after that, I was a believer, no doubt.
So this is a 42-7 game here as Lamar Jackson gets a play fake on the roll, and Jackson has another shot at a big one, but it is dropped by Bonifant. Now, that is not exactly the way you coached up Mr. Jackson, right, when you had him at a camp a couple years ago?
You know what? I had a chance to work with Lamar in 2012 as a sophomore in Boynton Beach, and we had a leadership camp in South Florida, football leadership camp, and had a chance to work with him along with a lot of great South Florida high school football players. And he was quite the talent, and you could tell it was raw, but he's done a really good job.
Jackson accounting for all of the Louisville touchdowns. And now Radcliffe with a carry. Let's talk about Marshall a little bit, though, because you talk about how there were the 2 national championships in the 1AA era, and then there was the dominance of the MAC, and then under Doc Holliday, the past 3 years, 10+ wins. So, yeah, they're on the wrong side of the score here, but this has been a football program that whatever level they've been at has been a solid winning program.
Yeah, we've been blessed. We've been blessed with great coaches, great players, and this whole community loves this university, and the tri-state area really supports us. And so we had a great run in the 90s where we were the winningest program in the 1990s across all of college football. And now that Doc Holliday is back here with us, he's done a great job of rebuilding our program, and having 33 wins in the last 3 years has been quite impressive.
When you were here on campus, you were a finalist as a Rhodes Scholar, but I found it interesting because you got actually held back at one point and then redshirted, and that ended up being a gift that fell out of the sky. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, my dad felt like I was a little immature and certainly didn't want me to graduate at 17 years old in high school, so I was held back in 8th grade, and then I redshirted here at Marshall. So when I came out of college into the pros, I was the only quarterback taken in the first 2 rounds, and if only one of those things would have happened, I would have come out in 1999 with 5 quarterbacks in the first 12, and if neither one of those things would have happened, I would come out when Peyton Manning came out. So timing is everything sometimes, you know.
There's likely going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist from Louisville for the first time this year. That's number 8, the sophomore quarterback. Now, amazingly, as Jackson zips that over the middle, it is intercepted. That's the 2nd pick off of Lamar Jackson. If this
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
It's not going to stand. Incomplete pass. So no pick, no catch. Through all of that, it's incomplete. Nearly a pick for Tyler.
Good protection up front, offensive line giving them some time, but just good tight coverage. That ball gets flown around, but properly called on the field, hits the ground. That would have been a nice little spark for Marshall, who's been non-existent here since about the end of the first quarter. It's been all Louisville looking dominant on both sides of the ball.
Back to that Heisman discussion in a moment. So Jackson to pass on 2nd and 10. That one is batted down, bringing up 3rd down and 10. So we mentioned that the Heisman Trophy finalists, these are the highest. So Randy and Chad and Byron, all in the top 10. Elvis Dumervil, the defensive end from Louisville and Baltimore Ravens. That's the highest Louisville's ever had in those Heisman finishes. So you likely have the first guy to make a trip to New York for Louisville as a Heisman finalist this year with Lamar Jackson, but that's a discrepancy as you see the pass incomplete between these 2 programs.
Well, it was a run that we had there in the late 90s and early 2000s where it had some great players and great coaching, and it was a really fun time to be a Hurt fan as well as a Hurt football player. And so to be in the likes of Byron and playing with Randy and knowing those 2 guys, I mean, and we actually had a chance to play Louisville in 1998 in the Ford Motor City Bowl. That was a great experience against Chris Redmond and those guys. And so you can see how both programs are just slowly built, and now the way Coach Petrino has the Louisville program going is really impressive.
Indeed it is. So the Marshall defense continues to play well, stopping Louisville despite the fact they're down 42-7. Chad, thanks for stopping by. Get back to that beautiful suite you have here.
Come by and get something to eat.
You got some peanut M&Ms?
You should have some time now. Come by and get something to eat.
Chad, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
That's not going to happen, but conference play is paramount. And the fake and it will be a first down, although Vedvik pays the price as he is leveled. There's a flag down, and now a skirmish between the Marshall players and the Louisville bench. After Vedvik is leveled on the fake, he has the first down. But a flag late.
You mentioned it, Carter. You said the coaches wanted to see if these guys were going to be in the game. The word we use in football is compete. How do you compete when you're challenged? You're going to lay down because it's Louisville? You're going to go in there and fight. We've seen Marshall fighting at times too much, being too aggressive. We saw Kendall Grant, their safety, get ejected for targeting. We see some skirmishes here. That certainly hasn't been a polished effort by Marshall tonight. But they've showed some moxie, and to your point, this is just one game, and it's a non-conference game. So just as Louisville's goals are all ahead of them, so are Marshall's. Might have been a hold they got away with there on the backside, though.
Garrett Morrell still in there, quarterback for Marshall. Going to be Keon Davis, and Davis breaks it inside the 20. Davis rolling inside the 15. Morrell on 2nd and 10. He's going to throw it to Davis now. Room to run on the outside with a block downfield. Davis barrels his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Marshall. Keon Davis takes it in as he goes rolling over D. Smith. It's a 12-yard touchdown catch and run for Keon Davis.
Good execution here. Gets the ball to Davis with some space to go. And I was really impressed with the block of Emmanuel Byrd right there at the very last. Somebody who's pretty familiar with this offense.
Started 5 games as a sophomore. Last year they went 3-2 with Kyle Bolin as the starting quarterback. And he's going to hand off to Jeremy Smith. Loose football. Marshall has it. And this is going to be run back for a touchdown. Ty Tyler picks it up and runs it back. 13:25 to go in the 4th. Back-to-back touchdowns by the Marshall Thundering Herd has made this a 52-20 game.
When coaches watch tape in a blowout, they want to see guys giving great effort. This is a good job going up and trying to get the football. And it was Chase Hancock, the linebacker, that ripped that out. And then Ty Tyler came up and got it. You see the effort. It's covered up, but then he switches the ball into one hand. Hancock comes in with his.
And that was such a bold decision by the Eagles. Certainly seemed Bradford, and they had looked brilliant. As Anthony Anderson goes high-stepping along the sideline, he's out of bounds. And near the 34, Isaac Stewart forces him out.
Nice run there, and Louisville's kind of throttling it down. I thought early on in this game there were a couple plays here and there, not consistently, that Marshall's offensive line won their matchup. But this is among the longer runs that they've had tonight. And there's still a couple guys that are out there. I mean, that's D. Smith with a.
Well, first we have this 3rd and 10 play. I want to talk about Marshall's future this year. Anderson on 3rd and 10, breaking tackles as he gets across the 25. He will have the first down. So give the Marshall fans some hope, even though they're going to lose this one big.
Well, Pitt's pass defense has been pretty poor, so I think a win against them would certainly be a nice jump start to their season as they head into conference play. But here's the deal: coming to this game tonight, with Chad Litton under center, they were averaging 50 points a game. These guys can score a lot of points. 10 wins the last 3 straight seasons. There's a lot to play with, and particularly with the effort of the defense early on in this game. For these young players to see themselves on tape doing that against an offense that is one of the better ones I've seen this season, maybe going back a couple years with the innovation and the things that they do, I think the future's pretty bright for this Marshall team.
We'll stretch those chains a second time to see, and after they initially signaled first down, bring out the chains again. I mean, the chain gang had already put up 1 over there for first down, and now they got to flip it back to 4 because it's 4th and inches coming up for Morrell and the Herd.
At this point in the ball game, this is about pride. It's a high percentage run situation. They're going to take it out of the shotgun, but probably not an A-gap run. Let's see what happens here along the line of scrimmage. Coaching going on from the sideline.
Morrell gives it to Anderson. He moves the chains. Forward progress, going to give him the first down. Pittman in the backfield, the guy they call the pit boss.
Anybody named the pit boss has to be tough.
And he is driving, not flying, all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittman.
That was a great touchdown.
So the scoreboard is going to be big for Louisville, but some momentum late for Marshall as Tony Pittman, the junior from Hampton, Virginia. Tough run into the end zone.
Yeah, just porous defense, something we haven't seen much this season. But to your point, there's a lot of...
After a slow start to the night, Louisville fails to score on the opening possession for the first time this year. Only one touchdown in the first. It was 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, and yet they are 4-0 again.